Randy McKee here with Soccer 605. I'm here with one of my legend coaches, Tom Maxon with Morningside. Thanks very much for being with us, Tom.
Oh, no problem. It's my pleasure.
You know, as Soccer 605, one of the things that we're trying to focus on are what South Dakota players are doing. And, you know, you've been a great friend to South Dakota players there at Morningside for as long as you've been there.
Well, they're great kids. I mean, I've enjoyed my time in Rapid City myself, and consider myself a South Dakotan at least a little, because both my kids were born there right when we were leaving, and you know, the kids that we've had from there, and my connections with Luis Ucera and yourself, and the various club players from both Rapid City and Spearfish and the surrounding area, and even Sioux Falls for that matter, have all, I mean, almost to a one, have been just great kids for us. Not just good players, but really good kids as well.
You know, that's one of the things I was talking about with one of your players the other night. Just over the years, the reputation you've developed as not only being a great soccer coach, but for the things that you do with your players off the field.
Well, I mean, you know, I've been at it for 24 years. It's my 24th year, and 12th year now at Morningside, and had NAU before that, and was with the Spitfire and all that kind of stuff. And so when you're at it that long, I mean, after a while, the wins and losses, you know, I've got almost 300 wins, but I've also got 250 some losses. So, you know, after a while, it has to be about more than just the winning and the losing. And, you know, I've got so many great relationships with these kids who are now have kids of their own, and who are, you know, hopefully better for having come through a college soccer program, whether that's mine or whether that's here at Dakota Wesleyan or any of the number of ones that these kids go through. I mean, you know, when you're young and you go to college, it's all about trying to win and lose and win a starting position. But in the long run, when you get to be our age, you know, you look back, and I remember as a player myself, it was all my friends and the trips and the travel. I don't remember what we won and what we lost. That's all secondary.
It kind of does fade in the past with the things that are important. Well, you know, right now you've got quite a bunch of soccer players from South Dakota on both on the women's and men's side who are making a pretty big contribution. I was watching tonight and was really impressed with Rachel Eisenbraun and her contribution.
She's been tremendous. I mean, we're a young team. We start 8 freshmen and sophomores, and Carly Bohr, who's a sophomore, just got hurt in the last game. She's out with a torn MCL. We just lost her. She was starting. Rachel's been tremendous for us. You know, we've had every kid come. Felicia Ryman, who was a starting goalie last year, broke her hand, and so she's a field player this year. We just gave her a few minutes at the end. We're trying to keep her active. So all those kids are tremendous. And Rachel, I mean, Rachel was a huge godsend to us. She's been, you know, as a freshman center back, you don't see that a lot. She's been great for us. I thought she played really well tonight. We were just overpowered by an older, more experienced, better Dakota Wesleyan team. You know, they're kind of at a different recruiting cycle than we're at. They're kind of at the end of theirs, and so we'll see how they recover after this year. This is a good year for them. They've had tremendous 2-3 years in a row now, and I think they've Dale's done a great job here. The girls have worked very hard. I think, you know, obviously they got a bunch of Rapid City kids as well. And so, and not just Rapid City, I heard several other towns mentioned as well. So I think you can have a great GPAC team, at least the GPAC level, with a number of Rapid City and South Dakota wide kids. And I know there are kids who go off to bigger schools than that, but within the GPAC, I think it's a great home for South Dakota kids who are used to growing up in a good family atmosphere, like Rushmore Soccer Club, like Spearfish, like, you know, Aberdeen, like Watertown, like some of those towns. I think GPAC schools allow them to have some proximity to home, be watched by their parents. It allows them to be part of a program where it's more than just about soccer. There's coaches throughout this conference who care about the kids. I think I'd take any kids from South Dakota anytime.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're getting ready to play a team that has a lot of South Dakota players on it too, and you know, one of the things that we've been pointing out to Coach Losaya is, you know, they're having a lot of success with mostly South Dakota players in this team.
Right, and you know, they've definitely built, you know, when a guy like Dale or a guy like Jeremy comes to a place and stays for a few years, which is what they've been lacking in the past, it takes a couple of years to build up that kind of a group of guys that believe in each other, that have that kind of talent level, and you build one recruiting class on top of the other based on the reputation of the guys before that. So the guys that came here a couple years ago are now bringing guys that they know from Rushmore Soccer Club and Dakota Alliance and places like that here. So yeah, I don't doubt that they're going to continue to have success that way.
Well, Coach, you know, you're kind of heading down the path. You know, you've been at Morningside 12 years now, and you know, I was just talking to Coach Wiedemeyer here a few weeks ago about you know, it ain't going to be long, and we're going to be saying, "Oh, Coach Wiedemeyer has been there for 30 years." Is that kind of where you think you're heading with Morningside?
Well, I don't know. It's been a great place for us. It really has. I mean, I landed there on accident. You know, I went and was the general manager and coach of the Sioux City Breeze, and when they folded after a couple of years, they were bought by another group. Morningside started soccer at that time, and I landed there, kind of was able to get that job and not move my family, so I say accidentally, but the place and the town and the people have really grown on us, and so I think it's been a fortuitous thing. I mean, God is involved in these sorts of things when you're not doing it on purpose, and you can look back and see that's what it's been. The kids are great. I would never leave because we're winning or losing. I would only leave because it was a no-brainer for my family, or I could get my wife closer to her family, which is in Nebraska anyway, so we're close. You know, Rapid City was the best place we've ever lived, but it's, you know, it's not the soccer place it used to be in terms of a college job, for sure. There's just not that many opportunities, so I don't know. I mean, I could be there the rest of my life and be happy. Coaching two teams is a grind, and it's tough. The kids deserve to have a coach each, so that would be a nice change, but other than that, I don't see myself leaving, except I don't know, the right job came along, and maybe not even in soccer. I don't know, maybe in athletic administration or something like that, maybe someday.
Well, it looks like you and I have a pretty good connection on both the coaching and player level. You know, B.J. Wiley was one of my '84 ODP players. And of course, Chase was one of my players at Stevens, and Logan and Jesse at Stevens too. I'm not going to take any credit or blame for any of those guys.
Well, no, you should take credit. Those kids have all been tremendous for us. I mean, I wouldn't trade any of them for anybody. I mean, we've had Jake Adams as well. We've had a load of South Dakota kids that if because of where we are more evenly mixed than, let's say, Dakota Wesleyan. We have a lot of Nebraska kids, we have a lot of Iowa kids, and we have a lot of South Dakota kids, but a little bit more split. We're not as heavily South Dakota as Dakota Wesleyan is. I'd like to be, but that's how it goes. I mean, these kids, you know, it's great. When I first lived there, kids were all going to Briar Cliff. They had a connection there. Everyone went there, but now kids are going all over, and that's better for them. These kids have a lot of opportunity.
You're living in a perfect spot to be getting players from all these states. So, Coach, I sure want to thank you for taking a couple minutes to share a little bit about your team with us, and I sure hope that we get a chance to catch you a little later in the season, see how things are finishing up for you.
Well, thanks a lot. It's my pleasure.